Ooh, how's everybody doing? Okay, I'm doing good. I believe. I think I am. Um, Today we are going to talk about Aries and Aquarius. Yeah, we're going to talk about Aries and Aquarius. Okay, and again, we are going to go with the combination of nature. What do we find in nature that can personify the relationship dynamics of an Aries and an Aquarius? Well, we're dealing first, and unfortunately, with incompatibility of signs. Even though Aquarius, which is air, and Aries, which is fire, these are complementary elements. You have a cardinal and a fixed. That's where the incompatibility lies. Because when it comes to fire and air, it's compatible. But when I talk about the modalities, I'm talking about the psychological personality, behavioral dynamics of the people involved in this relationship. So when you have a cardinal and a fixed, that right there does not really confer compromise. Cardinal is movement and it's active. And in that movement and in that activity of movement, there is no reflection. Aries is not the most self-reflecting sign in the zodiac. What I mean by that is that Aries doesn't stop and look back and consider what he's done. His only concern is moving forward. And moving forward in his own way. Even if it means bulldozing through people's lives. This is true of both the Aries man and the Aries woman. Please understand, he or she don't mean to be this way. They don't mean to do this. They're not even in psychological awareness. They are actually affecting people, sometimes in a negative way. Because they affect people in a positive way too. But you have to understand that as a fire sign, along with Sagittarius and Leo, we are dealing with a level of narcissism because the fire signs rules narcissism. It begins with Aries and is most intense in Leo. And it begins to wane somewhat with Sagittarius. As a mutable fire sign, he's more open to being more tolerant and accepting of other people's views and worldview, where not so much with Leo and Aries. The only worldview that they are concerned about is how it affects their bottom line. Because Aries and Leo, these are very business-oriented signs, and they're masculine fire. So, tangible results will be more important to these people than anything else. And when it comes to the emotions and when it comes to love and affection, these are intangibles. This is where the fire signs tend to run into some problems. And Aries is no exception. Aries, as a woman, can be thoughtless, intolerant. Again, like Miss Gemini, she's prone to think very fast. And not very good when it comes to the details. Now, as a woman, you're gonna have a certain degree of integrity of details. All women do, Uh, with an Aries woman, she's not an exception either. She can be very detail oriented and very methodical if she chooses to. It really depends on what she values enough for her to really be this way. But most of the time, she's very content making moves based on first impressions. Her first impressions of you or anything really carries a big weight with her. The negative about that is that you can easily get fooled or bamboozled by somebody who sees that, this is your relationship operative dynamic of how you relate, and can use that against you. That happens a lot with the Aries woman. You have to understand that as an Aries woman, happiness for you, and this is going to sound fucked up. It's going to sound fucked up. I know. Listen, I know. I came from an Aries mother, and I've seen my mother's relationship with my father, and I have an Aries moon. I wear the blood symbol of Aries on my head, so I'm very dear to Aries. I'm a Virgo, but I'm a lot like an Aries. I even look like an Aries. I'm all about the war and the fight and the struggle, and asserting what I want. That's the cardinal of Aries. No, but the problem with Aries, both men and women, is that we don't look at the person that's in front of us. We say we do, but we really don't. If we don't perceive our partner to be intelligent or to be functioning at the speed that we're at, we tend to lose respect for the partner and then head on to abuse them. That's an ugly, dark, shadow side of Aries, is that we have no tolerance for weak people. And God forbid one creeps in our midst, we will tend to abuse them and hurt them. In one way, because we want to teach them to be strong and not be such a wimp. That's the negative side of Aries. Everybody has their own level of strength, but Aries doesn't seem to respect people's different individual thresholds of strength. Strength has to come in one way or another. And if it doesn't mirror the experience in which one defines what strength is, then you can underestimate somebody's strength or somebody's weakness. Strength is whatever you think strength looks like. And that goes right back to your childhood and your only early experiences. Me, for example, to me, strength is fighting. But I've had to deal with fighting my entire life. Okay? I'm a young guy, openly gay, bisexual, man of color, Hispanic. I mean, all of these are strikes, right? Supposedly. Strikes, right? And I'm also a magician, a witch. Another stigma. Boom. And if I had let's say, cancer or AIDS, boom. That's another stigma. So and then of course I come from an abusive background. I was someone who was, went through an abusive background when I was growing up. I'm talking about sex molestation and all that shit. That's what made me go in and develop the life that I led with the pornography and the pole dancing and the go-go dancing and the prostitution. That leads to that road. No, so with all those strikes, you have to understand. And I was in the military, where I had to fight repeatedly. And I was in Kentucky. I was in Fort Knox with a bunch of rednecks. And that's what? The shower scenes, that's another video that I got to talk to you about. So I've been through shit. That's why I write, But I'm 50 years old, so I've survived a lot. But that's the power of Virgo. But that is also the strength and resilientness of Aries, because I have an Aries moon and I come from an Aries mother. I am my mother's child. I'm gonna fight in a minute, but that's all I've known since a child. When I came to the United States for the first time, and I was 7 years old, for the first time stepped foot in a foreign soil, the first day of school, a white boy punched me out. Punched me. I mean, I was late out, and I was 7 years old. That was my first introduction to the United States when I moved into Chelsea. Okay, in 1976, 77. With race, things were still tense, and I was on Lower East Side and lived well for someone of color in the Lower East Side back in the day. You know, but I didn't know what that was like. So, as you know, Aries, we go through shit. Life is not easy.